Hi, good evening for those of you that know me. Of course, I'm Peter Hudson, Head of Training and Recruitment of the World Golf Teaching Federation, founder of YGA and promoter of the Lessons for Life. Tonight's training is for those coaches that are already members that are on stage one, those that maybe have slightly lost their momentum, and those interested in becoming golf coaches. So stage one for me is by far the most important part of any of the training that we do, in that it's understanding the industry, where it is and how it got here. Now, for the most part, the discovery of what's going on is coming two separate facets. One is the information that we've gleaned through doing now probably 3,000 interviews with people that have had lessons or haven't had lessons, and the reasons and the results of those, and from the development of sports science. So the surveys consistently come back with the fact that they didn't get better, or they got worse, and I said 90% reflect that. There was a lot of customer service issues in there, but I don't really want to go into those too much. There was certainly a huge lack of knowledge on the part of the client, in that I've regularly conducted surveys and discovered that most people think that they should hit up on the ball with the irons, try and get it in the air, and that the weight should be on the balls of the feet, which goes to the toes. So two huge aspects of knowledge that will affect the ability of anybody to develop their skill and talent. 99.999% recurring were left to manage any information they were given, i.e. they may have been given a drill to go and practice, but that drill wasn't monitored anyway, and for the most part clients were told to come back when they've achieved what they were given, and this just doesn't get the results. We found that, as far as you're concerned, and one of the huge advantages that you have is that 99% of all golf coaches expect their trade to walk into them, i.e. they're at golf clubs, driving ranges, and apart from a poster saying buy 5 lessons get 1 free, there's virtually no marketing in there at all. So why should you be considering becoming a golf coach? Well, I think that if I had to explain that one, I'm in the wrong place. What I would say, I think that speaking with guys and girls that are in this area, it is their own inability to see how easy it is to become a golf coach and start earning your living. And I want to make this very clear, that the steps that we lay out are simple steps, so that you should be able to replace your income without actually giving up your day job in the first place. Let's just consider one simple fact, that the average price of a lesson is probably now somewhere between £35 and £60 an hour. So if we take somewhere £45 as the mean average of that, then you've only got to give 10 lessons a week to earn £450. And I'm not suggesting you do it that way, I'm just giving you that as a figure. So can you find an extra 10 hours a week on top of what you do to deliver these lessons to gain the necessary experience to charge even more and to turn that into a full-time lesson? Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the other reasons that we need to look now at becoming a golf coach is to give us extra income. For many of you, it's about adding to the pension funds, which are either inadequate or you haven't got one. But of course, without doubt, that the major reason is, your passion for golf and your passion for life. And, for those that have met me, you'll understand that, what I've done here has totally changed my life, the way I think and the way I act in every single department of my life. And if you listen to the testimonials of the people that have been through the course, especially those that have been with me 10 years or more, then the explanation about how it's just changed their lives completely. So what do we do? What do we need to do as coaches, whether you're training with me or not? What do we need to do differently? Well, I think the first part is in that interview stage where I spend up to 4 hours with people, just talking to them, just listening, finding out whether what they have enough motivation to achieve, and then redirecting them, finding new routes, finding angles of approach that will give them success. So basically up till now we've had this basic philosophy that we charge per hour for our services, give information away, and then the client can do what they want with that information. Well, with the internet the way it is, there's certainly plenty of information out there, although very confusing and poorly produced on occasions. The information nevertheless is still out there. What we need to do differently is to decide that to fix the goal correctly, i.e. that it is congruent with everything else that's going on around people, including their finances, their time, their other relationships, their workload, to fit the goal, to make that goal correct, and then make sure that goal is achieved. So huge shift from charging time into charging for results. Once we've understood them, it's going probably to mean that much of the improvements or goals that can be made will be in their play, in their actual, when they play golf. So fundamentally then we've got to watch them play golf, and from watching them play golf, compare that to their goals, and then find solutions within that will basically make them happier on the golf course. We need to, the biggest thing for those people that decide on technical change is that we need to monitor and manage that practice, and this is where systems like the V1 branded academy, which we fully recommend that we use within stage 1 and obviously stage 2, 3, 4 and 5, is using these implements of technology to help and aid you communicate. And we want to create long-term relationships. The idea of someone having a half-hour lesson and going away happy is possible, and I've done it before, but it's not a very good idea compared to all the knowledge that you're going to have about how the game can be improved, and for the pure marketing possibilities of having someone working with you for 5 years and telling everybody about you during that time. So we've got to create these long-term relationships. We've got to make sure that all of the changes are implemented, so that not only means watching them play prior to doing the work, but watching them play after to check that that has been implemented and put into their games. And again, that's where the V1 technology comes in and helps you in that area. So I can't go into the thousands of other ways and the things that you'll learn in stage 1 that will help you in all those areas. But I think that, again, one of the key understandings is that you don't have to worry about what it is that you're going to change about them. By collaborating with your mentor, with your buddy coach, with me, we will work out together what you need to do, just because again, all I'm giving you is information. It's nothing. The implementation of that information will be totally down to you, for sure. So to create this successful practice, I think this is another little stumbling block for people. How do I shift from this information into actually creating something? And again, small steps. You only need to buy a net and a mat, and you can take your work to people's back gardens. You can put some in your own back gardens. Once you begin to get confident and you realise that most of the work is in managing, watching them play, playing with them, managing their practice, implementing all the changes, and improving the rapport within that relationships, you'll realise that you can do it anywhere. If you start to sustain 20 hours a week, then you might be thinking of getting your own indoor studio and working from there. So slow steps, inexpensive steps, and start to gain that experience that will give you the reputation to bring you in. So you don't need to go and find a job at a driving range or a golf club. First of all, we're only training you to be golf coaches. If you want to learn to be secretaries or work in the shop, then that's another area of training that you need to consider. So be fundamentally developing that coaching side. You obviously need to learn how to market. Now again, we'll hold your hand all the way, but a major part of the stage 1 training is to get you to start interacting on social media and using that to see how that's going to develop your business. And of course the technology that goes along with that will help you to do that. But that marketing also includes the product that you're selling, because if we want to implement these monitoring and managing situations, then we can't charge £60 an hour. We're going to have to find a different way to do it to make sure we get those changes. And the Lessons for Life is one way to do that. That means that you'll earn even more money than you currently earn at £60 an hour, but it means that the client has the ability to have your services for the rest of their lives and not have to pay extraordinary amounts of money. But you can make up your own practice and how that goes together. You're going to have to create collaborations. So those collaborations are with other professionals, but they're also hugely within how you find your mentor within our organisation, and really that mentor should be somebody that has been with me for some time, and myself before then. But there's also mentors within our industry that you need to find and adhere to. You certainly need to know the playing strategies. There's a lot of information out there that suggests that unless you're a good golfer, you can't be a good golf coach, and I've put plenty on YouTube to dispute that. But I would say that if we're saying that so much improvement can be had out on the golf course, then you're going to need to know what to do on the golf course. Now, I'm not saying that you can't read books to discover an awful lot of information of how to cure some of the mental issues that go on the golf course. And the inner game is a huge part of that. Fred Schumacher's a huge part of that. Kendall McQuaid's a huge part of that. NLP is a huge part of that. But also you need that experience of playing golf. So certainly if you haven't got that experience, you again need to find a mentor. So you actually do need to find a player that has got very, very sound strategies. And we're going to introduce you to an awful load and some real bog standard ones that are going to virtually work with everybody. You need to know how the swing works, but you don't, because you have me and the mentors to tell you how the swing works. But you're certainly going to need to know what you need to change at any particular time. You're going to, without a doubt, one of the biggest philosophy to adopt within level 1 is the fact that you're going to learn for the rest of your life. But I think it's not just that you have to learn, it's I want to learn. It's the passion of learning, and in that learning how you help other people learn. So what is the key to success in stage one? And I've got to say that I think that the toughest thing with any correspondence type online course is momentum. So that momentum needs to be driven from the very first day by following the instructions and aligning yourself up with the mentor, the buddy coach, the buddy client. These are so important, and to start communicating through the social media challenges on a daily, almost hourly basis, attending the Monday night trainings, giving feedback. The instructions that you've got have been developing now over 2 years as we've introduced these 3 new stages. And obviously how you learn is so important, and that's why now we've put these instructions down as you watch the videos on YouTube, that you take notes, that you ask questions, that you give feedback, that you talk to your fellow buddy coach and mentor about what you've seen, what you've learned, and then develop that, future pace it, how will this affect my coaching, how will I change my coaching as to I'd viewed it before. So I think that is extremely important. Your client, picking the right client to work with, and again certainly on a weekly basis, making sure that you're giving them lessons, showing them what we've done, asking them for feedback about how it affects us, because it's, whatever the information, it's about the experience that you have, and then the experience that the client has that you learn. Learning and how to use social media is, again, I've said it again and again, you've got to get in there and start to get that information flow, because eventually that's how you're going to pick up new customers. So the whole point of the way that we train is to say that what's been done before hasn't been enough, and although some people within the industry are changing, we need to change it at grassroots. And what makes this so possible for you is that you're going to be, once you've learned everything you need to learn in stage one, you are going to be able to achieve more results than people that have been in this industry, I believe, for 10 to 40 years. And because of that, you've got every chance of succeeding in all of the facets of your success. So, that's in achievement, finance, happiness. It's a life-changing experience. And, we have dreams, and the only way that a dream can become a reality is if we get in there and start doing things and get the momentum going now. And you can be living the life of a golf coach and all that's going to bring to you in a reasonably short spell of time. I'm not saying that you're going to have all the skills necessary after 6 months, but certainly you're going to have all of the skills necessary after 6 months to coach for the rest of your life, and to keep you improving as a golf coach and improving those that you coach. So if you want to know more, then obviously contact me, Peter Hudson, 07939 584 010. If you want some help in kick-starting your stage one training, getting that momentum going, call me. And if you want to revisit this whole thing, and I certainly suggest that all level 3 coaches that are currently coaching, if they haven't done the new system, i.e. they haven't done a training for 2 years, I suggest you come back and visit the new training and do it again. You'll have a wonderful experience, a wonderful time, and you will undoubtedly increase the revenue that you're currently earning. Thank you for listening, and I really look forward to your feedback and your questions from this presentation. Thank you for listening.